Alright, so I know what you're thinking, Chris. You didn't upload at 8 in the morning like you usually do today. It was actually for a really good reason. I wanted to spend some extra time to make this deck perfect. I started making it around 1 p.m. yesterday until about 4 or 5 p.m. Took a break, came back to it, wasn't happy with it. Went from like 6 to like 9, and then I'm like, alright, we found a deck that's actually good. And I started winning games at that point, and then I just had to record the games and show you guys what I came up with. Now, let's take a look at the deck a little bit. Here we have Imperial Formation with a bunch of soldiers in the deck. So I'm really excited. We're doing a classic soldier deck. Now, I know a lot of you guys requested me to play Cahir. And honestly, I tried Cahir. But with Cahir, I had to put in a defender as well. And I felt like the deck was just too slow. I wasn't winning games at all, and I wasn't having fun. And believe it or not, every single game that I did play with Cahir, I wasn't playing against boosty decks. I was playing against Stockpile Siege, I was playing against Skellige Raid, I was playing against Reckless Flurry. Like, there were just all these horrible matchups for us there, and it just didn't see any points. I think even when I was able to play it, it just sat there for 5 points. It was unfortunate. Now, obviously, I had ways to give it some boost with like the Nilfgaardian Knights and stuff like that, but at the same time, it just wasn't really adding up for 9 provisions. I also experimented with Vilgefortz for removal. I tried to do the leader swap after we used it. I even at one point used Ciri, and I thought that, okay, well, because our deck sometimes plays slow, we have a lot of engines, what if we just put something there to help prevent coin abuse? So what if we just have this here and, maybe we can get our card back? With the leader being able to boost it, Truffle being able to boost it, it seemed like a good idea, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work out. So I went through quite a lot of options. Erendite just doesn't make sense here because our tempo is not really there. It's more like our long rounds that really carries us. And I even tried to build it around the Ciri, Nova, Golden Necker deck at the beginning, but I felt like there were just too many top-end cards that weren't soldiers. Like, if you look at above, like, 9, like, these cards make a huge difference in the deck, and it just wasn't rolling out properly with this combo, unfortunately, right? Doesn't mean because it's there we have to use it. So that's pretty much it. I want to go through the deck here to show you guys kind of why I put it together the way it is and why it works. So we have Oneiromancy for consistency. This is an echo card. We could play it twice during the game. Play any card from deck. I have an equal amount of cards that are specials and units that we really want to pull, right? We think that, Yennefer's Invocation, Mushy Truffle, Vigo's Muzzle, like, these are huge cards to pull with Oneiro. And in addition to that, Vilgefortz Renegade, Ramon, right? Vrygif's really good here as well. Like, these types of things, definitely stuff you want to pull with Oneiromancy. And I just felt like this was necessary 100%. Even though we have other thinning options, Ring of Favor is a pseudo thin, right? If they pass on us or we pass on them, we do get a draw. We have Afen from the leader, which is obviously something that's going to be summoned to our playing field, so that's a thin as well. And then we have the Blightmaker combo. But I find when we have a lot of engines in a deck, and I'm talking about the Alba Pikemans, right? We have the Illusionists, like these types of things. It just makes sense to go with a bunch of thinning stuff, because we need the tempo there to support the engine plays, right? We put down the engines, they're kind of slow, and then we just take a bunch of thinning to help speed things up to get to a point where we're comfortable, right? That's kind of the rationale behind it. Now, another thing I'm just going to bring up before I forget is my previous versions plural, of the soldiers had the crossbowmen. In this event, I decided to put the Nilfgaardian Knight because I felt like the deck had virtually no proactivity before, right? It was really tough to play something, if you're on blue coin, right? You don't want to take a Blightmaker and waste the damage. You don't want to just throw a lock on the board. You don't really want to float a pikeman because they often see removal on first turn if you're not careful, right? Illusionists don't play round 1. Pallor doesn't make sense round 1. Ointment's okay, but there's another reason for that we'll get to. So really, there's not a lot we could play early on. So these went, and these basically came in the spot for them just for an immediate payoff, okay? And we don't always play these, but if we do, we have one in hand at least, so we have like a proactive play, you know, if we're going first in the round. So I like the swap there. I'm pretty happy with it. Now let's get into the strategy a little bit. Let's go over the cards more. So we have Vilgefortz Renegade. Deploy, swap a card from your opponent's graveyard with the card in your hand. So we can do just about whatever we need to do with this card, right? Now, normally, we'd be looking for maybe something like the Nilfgaardian Knight or an Ointment. Those are kind of like my top picks here. Nilfgaardian Knight is good because we can make copies of it with the Illusionists, and it's a soldier, so if we do have one that's 1 power before they get bonded, we can take the Ointment and we can heal it from 1 power back to 8 and then boost it by 5. So it's a really big payoff when we're taking Illusionists on our own Nilfgaardian Knight. At the same time, we can maybe dive in for their Heatwave, we can dive in for their Melusine, we can dive in for whatever the biggest threat seems to be in that matchup, right? Skellige does a lot with the graveyard, so there might be something we really need there, you know what I mean? Something that can really mess up the play in later rounds. So I like this quite a bit, but at least we have things that make sense. Worst case scenario, we just take like an Ointment, like something we won't play. Like if we already played these, it's fine. We'll just take the Ointments because it's the worst card in the deck, right? It only really works if we're healing something. Otherwise, it would just make more sense to go and play a battle prep, right? But this synergy is what intrigued me. And oftentimes we're playing against control anyways, so there's going to be something that's damaged down, whether it's a pikeman or, you know, cavalry, whatever the case, right? So I felt like Ointments just made the cut here for that. I have a lot of fun with Vilgefortz. You have to see how he plays in these games. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, we're getting crazy value off of this, and it's just so much fun. So that's that. I like Muzzle a lot here for a couple reasons. Not only are we locking something, we're taking it, right? We're seizing that on our side of the playing field. We have ways to give damage. So if you look at it here, we've got tons of pings, right? These, maybe something we create off Illusionists. You know, we have another option off the Truffle to get another pikeman. So we're going to be nudging things down. Vrygif to do it all again, right, with the Illusionists. So there's going to be something at 6 power that we can take. Also, maybe there's something that's 4 power and it's not quite the best muzzle. We can actually just give them a boost and take it back. You see what I mean? We boost a 4 to a 6 and snag it. So it's kind of attractive then, right? So just a couple ways you can do that. I think that this is a little bit more flexible than a Heatwave right now. I did have Heatwave in the deck at one point. You can use that if you like, but I felt like Yen and Muzzle were just enough as a pair. And putting something like Vilgefortz was a bit better than a Heatwave because it plays for a ton of points as well. The deck needs points, and this is kind of what it came out with there, right? Mushy Truffle's huge in this deck. I wouldn't play it without Mushy Truffle. Resilience, deploy, spawn, and play a bonded unit from our starting deck, or spawn and play Golden Froth. So what we're doing here is we're basically creating one of two options. We have the Illusionists, and we have the Alba Pikemen. Whatever the situation requires us to do, you do. Round 3 times, if it's a shorter round, Illusionist could be better. If it's a longer round, Pikeman could be better. You have to sort of feel it out and use your discretion because there's not like a right or wrong answer. It depends on the matchup, it depends on the round length and stuff like that. So that's that. The Golden Froth's nice. Make sure everything's healed up if you have to heal it first before you start putting Golden Froth on your own cards. But it's nice because we have the extra 3x2 so that we can basically keep things going. And that, in addition to the armor that we get from the leader's passive ability when we play the soldiers adjacent, is really tough for the opponent to remove, even if they are heavy control. It gets pretty annoying for them, right? So that's that. Ramon's really good. We get to spawn and play a base copy of a soldier from our hand and give it 2 armor. Now, I used to love this card. I still like it, but I only like it in soldiers decks now. I used to put this in everything, even like a Masquerade Ball deck back in the day, right? This is something that, you know, you can make a copy of any of our bronzes, right? We can take a Nilfgaardian Knight, an Alba, a Pikeman, we take an Illusionist. Again, it depends on what we have. It depends on what we need to do. And what sort of tempo we have. This is a really good tempo play. Puts a ton of armor as well because we give it 2 armor. And then whatever else, if it's adjacent, it's going to be getting more, right? So that's pretty much it. Moving on to Yennefer's Invocation, place an enemy unit on the top of our deck. So what we can do is we can just take their best card and play it later, right? Maybe we take one of their best cards from their grave. Maybe we take one of their best cards from the playing field. Maybe we replay it. Maybe the card that we took from their grave synergizes with the card that we took from Yen. So this combo, believe it or not, I mean, mages and spells make sense, right? But this combo is really sweet. I like it quite a bit. Now, Ring of Favor is just something you need to have in most decks right now. I think any deck that pushes you to go non-devotion, you want to put Ring of Favor just until they nerf it. I would expect that it's going to go to 10 or 11 provisions this coming patch, but for now, you want to play it just so you can stay with your opponents. This card starts in your hand, boost an allied unit by 4, while in hand at the end of your turn, increase the boost by 2. When your opponent passes, banish self from hand and draw a card. When moved to the deck, banish self, right? That's basically it. So if we play this late round 1, we can get it worth like 20 points, right? And this is going to help us push to win on even so that we can bleed our opponent with our whole assembly line of engines, or it's just going to help us get out of a round that we're trapped in. So a couple different options how to play that card there. If we don't need to play it, we get the extra mulligan or extra draw, which is really good as well, right? It helps us get through this deck because the deck's carried by a lot of bronze cards, so we want to just funnel out cards and play a lot of cards, right? So Vragif, another really cool card. So deploy, trigger the deploy abilities of adjacent bronze soldiers. So I have 2 locks. I feel like there's a lot of stuff we need to lock right now. You can make an additional 2 locks if you need to. Otherwise, we're taking those on the illusionists, right? And it's just fine, right? We have 2 really healthy options that we have lots of ways of making copies of. So whether it's Truffle, Ramon, the original set that we have, right? There's just a lot of good ways to get copies of these things. We get to trigger the ability of them, right? The only thing you got to be careful of is that the Alba goes on melee. This has to be adjacent. Afen goes on melee. And then we obviously want to put these on ranged then, or just really split up the row because these are going to be spawning an extra 2 cards when we put this in between. So you don't want to row lock yourself just in case, right? I did have Swears in the deck. Now that we're looking at the 8 provisions, it just didn't seem like it made the cut. I wanted it to, but this version doesn't have jousts, and I felt like it got a little bit more awkward chipping things down so we can get them to 3 power, especially because this deck doesn't have the crossbowman either. So I decided to take out the Swears because we're missing those 2 cards. And I don't recommend putting it back in this specific version. Maybe the former version, it just works better, right? Now, Afen's just for the thin. Peter it's an argument. He plays well, and it's a base body plus a spores, basically, right? I don't mind the card. I think that the card's a really cool tech. You might not get the best value from this card in every matchup. It might not matter. So you can use your discretion if that's something that you want to do. What I can tell you, though, is that we really need the Yennefer's Invocation, the Vigo's Muzzle, and the Mushy... the Oniro. You can't take the Mushy. I'm thinking that it's not a bad idea to put Arcane Tome. You could do that if you want to do that. Right? I might just give you guys a second version of the deck in the description, or maybe just put it as a consideration in the comments or whatever. But that's completely fine, right? Because we're getting some good things. But another option in that spot, if you're not liking Arcane Tome, you're not liking the reset. I think the reset's fine though. You can go Xavier, right? Little Graveyard Punish, never hurt no one except for the opponent. It's actually even a consideration to try Vanamar, because we have the ability to destroy a locked unit. We have tons of ways to get locks, 2, potentially 3, and then potentially 5, right? So I don't even feel bad playing something like Vanamar. I don't think that that's going to brick. If you're facing a lot of Swarm, you can go for some kind of wide punish, but I think the deck's just fine the way it is, really. Blightmaker package with the Mage Assassins just seemed to be the best option. Everything else, like, I'm sure there were other cards I wanted to include. Like, I had other ideas for the deck. I had, this was one thing so I can get some information. I had Megascopes for the Nilfgaardian Knight at one point. And then I had, where is he? I'm just telling you this in case you're curious, you know? I had these. If you control an artifact, boost health by 3, because we had the 2 Megascopes and the Vial in there at one point. And these were playing for, like, you know, 7 points on deploy. It's a little bit safer than something like the Ardfane Tortoise, so I wanted to try it, you know? But this is also really cool because we can trigger the deploy effect with the Vragif. So I'm going to put this in the considerations as well, if you guys want, because I think it's a really cool card, and I think that you could rework this deck to accommodate them, no problem. But it just wasn't fast enough with the Megascope change and all that stuff, and there weren't enough soldiers at that point. It was focused more on artifacts, so I felt like we were losing a lot of the passive armor from leader, and, you know, it started to lean in the direction of needing a different leader. So that's it. Pikemen, at the end of your turn, damage a random enemy unit on the melee roll by 1, bonded, damage a random enemy unit by 1 instead. So this will work as long as it's on the melee row. If one gets pushed back, let's say to range, but you have one on melee, they're still bonded. So this one will target any card, like it won't just be melee. However, the back row one won't work. So just keep that in mind there. Very rarely are we going to see movement and tech decks, but maybe Kelly has Drowner. And, you know, for the time that you run into guerrilla tactics, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. That matchup is still winnable, though, because you don't need just the pikemen to win the game. If that was the only win condition, it would be kind of sad, right? There's other stuff that we got going on, so you could still win that matchup. And we talked about everything else. Pellar's just to get around a defender, so we don't have to yen it. It's to get around resilience, right? If they have a Siri, if they have a Zoltan, if they have anything like that, we need to basically purify so that they don't get that carryover. And, of course, if we go tall with something and they poison it, or worst case scenario, they lock one of our engines, we're not happy with that, we could take a Purify. So that's basically what we have there. Last card, one of the cool cards in the deck, had a really cool application with this one against Skellige today. Deploy, spawn a base copy of a bronze unit from your opponent's graveyard to the right side of this card, and set its power to 1. Bonded, don't set its power to 1. So, again, it's one of those things where if we do put something like this in their grave, the first one goes to 1 power, we could heal with the ointment. The second one just goes to 8 power. So we're getting 12 points for 4 provisions when they're bonded. So if we have 2 here, we can trigger and get 2 more off the Vragif. We can get another one off the Ramon, and we can potentially get another one off the Mushy Truffle. That's just wild, right? It's just, how does a deck keep up with the point slams? And that's one of the real cool things about the deck, right? So that's pretty much it. I got 5 or 6 games for you guys today. I can't remember. I'm really confident with this deck here. I went from tanking, like I played at least 20 games with like different versions of soldiers, and I tanked to like 2370. But then when I started playing this one, I got back to 2430. So we're getting in the right direction. I'm going to give it a break for now and move on to another project, but I'm really happy with the way this one went. So I hope that you guys like this one as well. If you guys enjoy the content that you see, don't forget to sub to the channel. If you want to support the channel, I do have a new Patreon as well. Links in the description, and I have 2 tiers of channel memberships for YouTube. So definitely look into those ones there. You can also check out my community tab for the stream schedule. I will be back tomorrow with another stream. And that's pretty much it for now. We'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And yeah, have fun playing soldiers. Alright, so we got probably Self Wound, maybe Lippy. Skellige's coming up here. Let's see what we got. We do go first, so this is something that we can do. Put that back. I don't love 2 of these in one round. So it's probably... yeah, it's probably going to be tucking that back. This is kind of a play 3 cards and get out type round. What we want to do is we need muzzle, we need yen. Like, those are huge things, right? Yeah, it's going to be just go to 7. I think the longer we stay in the round, the worse it's going to be for the entire game for us. So, like, that would have been the nicest muzzle right there.
A fine vintage it would have made. Seen it all already, and then some.
Yeah, I'll see myself out. Nice part about it here is that maybe... Okay, it doesn't take them 2 turns, it just takes them 1. But, at least we're getting value on this. If I'm gonna take it, we want it to be good. Yeah, there we go. 14. Put one of these back. Put that back, of course. Oh, Neuromancy's really good. We gotta go for one of a couple things. So... That's tough. They certainly bleed, right? It's just unfortunate that we don't have muzzle and the yen at the same time. We only have access to 1. And second to that as well, Peller would have been really nice to have in this matchup.
Stand before the Queen of Skellige.
Just one more, sir.
Okay. I believe that we're supposed to go and take this. And go for the engine. Over a long round, this will get more value than just the point slam, I think.
Sacrifices must be made.
Bakusha into Melusine. I want to take it now, but at the same time, I don't. I think that if I take, like, if I don't take it soon, though, they're gonna cram a defender down, and then we're stuck. We'll see what happens this turn. It's kind of a big deal. Maybe we're supposed to grab it now. Yeah, let's just take it, even though... Yeah, 18's enough. Greeting it out more is tough. It's probably a lock. Is it the only one I have, though? Okay, for that reason, we gotta be careful. Like, if they start, you know, if they think about playing the Sigvald, we have to lock that and just hope that they don't have a locked tech. right?
That's the only
Yeah, we'll take it now, just because be giving them too much value otherwise. If they have it, they'll use it. I'm expecting like a Mahakam or something like that. Nothing. We're killing that. At the end of the day, though, we do have the Vragith. So we can use another lock.
I'm wed to no man, but to the sea
Yeah,
and
they
the
really
sea.
went for that. That's going to be the play.
You are dogs, and I shall treat you as such.
We fixed the draws. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I want to play around like an Igni or something. Just a random one, you know? Yeah, with the Melusine in deck, it makes sense to take leader round 2, because if we could pull like this, this, and this, we just win. And if they had to use Bride of the Sea, I don't think they have a second one.
Cursed are the meek, we say.
Everything's got armor too, so it's kind of nice. It's probably gonna have to be the Illusionist here. Disgusting. We helped them out here too, but this is nice. Isn't it just that? Yeah. Now we pull Melusine, Muzzle, Vilgefortz. I don't think we need to purify or the reset anymore. Okay, Vilgefortz is not even a big deal. And we could take Vilg if that's like all we can take, you know? So they have the Defender. Actually, you know what? I think I'm supposed to... Because they didn't play Sigdrifa's right. So they could still do something with Sigvald. So I think I'm supposed to actually give them Muzzle.
I still hope they'll paint a picture.
Because if they have a couple Mardromes or whatever the case, and then, you know... This will play for 12 points. This will play for 7. Fine. We have 6 here. We have 18 here. I really hope we can finish this game. I'm happy with it. That's going to be the defender. Or that. Okay. Wild Carl's a good play. Do they damage it by half its power? They would have to take Callus off of it. Yeah. I guess. I think that after this matchup, they might take these out of their deck. They might second guess them. It would be the 5, wouldn't it? Destroy and heal. They gain 1 point. That's fine. And next up here we got Mahakam Forge, Scoia'tael. This should be kind of interesting. It's like a lot of armor to get through, but we have like locks, which is awesome. 1 and 2. These can probably go for now. Actually, I don't mind keeping this one, but dumping this for now. It's probably just gonna have to be Truffle. Nice part about this is they like to stack melee because they put the war chariots on the range. Well, not the war chariots, but you know the ones. Dwarven chariots. On the range row, right? So it might cause them some problems. It's like a pretty good muzzle. But so is resilience, right? I think that's just supposed to be... I think it's supposed to be a lock. We'll just take that. This is not a huge deal. I think we're supposed to just go and take some blight makers. Be kind of nice if we can get this out of the way. So 2 per turn. Okay. One per turn. It gets here. This gets resilience. I think we make them work a bit harder for it.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Sure enough, they just hit the 1. That'll be what we take, I think.
Dance! Dance! Dance with me, death!
Might as well just take the other fin.
Not even compost.
I think that they're probably going to pass here, but if they don't, we definitely do. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to bleed. We've got the 4 carryover plus the 6 carryover here. 1 card deficit. Yeah, we'll make a bunch of berserkers.
Praise be to the great sun!
Right, like these are perfect targets. Gotta be this.
Ever laid eyes on a deception of such grandeur? Blood! Blood!
I want more armor, you know? So maybe we put 1 up here. That's not that great. Yeah, we'll put this here. Let's take another one. Let's take this while we're at it. We'll make 2 more.
You will pay for this.
I think we're supposed to take this too.
The continent will quake beneath Nilfgaardian hoof.
That's gonna be Brewer, I'm pretty sure.
The favor's enough. Let's get to work.
And they definitely sink it on Brewer, don't they? Oh, okay. This is not bad to pull. This is probably safer to pull. I think it's got to be this.
For Mahakam. The common folk. I care for them. Damn the horse sons.
So I don't think we're 2-0, but we're certainly all in. Actually, we 2-0'd them. That's crazy.
I forgive you.
Alright, so we go first here. Likely going to be Kelly. I think that we have the answers that we need for Kelly. Reset the power. We'll probably put this back for now as well. Purify is really good for the defender if they have one. And then don't think the lock's gonna do it here. That's a bit better. We just do something proactive here, go for a point slam. Okay, so here's the thing. We want them to actually play Kelly if they're going to play Kelly, right? So if we... If we play the Peller now, chances are they're not going to play Kelly. I think what I'm supposed to do is just put an engine down, really. And like, maybe even just lose round 1 deliberately if it means that we get what we need, right? So they just assume. This is okay. If we lose round 1, chances are they'll try and bleed round 2, so we can just go ahead and play this here. They want dominance, so that gets boosted too. That's fine. We'll go and take. It's a 50-50. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe we just boost just in case. So that, yeah, so that it doesn't boost this coming turn unless they use something for it. If I'm gonna be pulling a card... At this point, it's probably a Blightmaker. We just want to get rid of all that thick board state, you know, early on so that we don't have to deal with it later on. And so we got 33.33. Ah. Looks like a pretty good pass to me.
Welcome back, Geralt of Rivia.
Okay. So if they do Sabbath, they're going to be pulling a Knight and potentially Blightmakers, but also potentially Pikemen. We hope that it's all Pikemen, right? It's got to be the lock that goes. And this looks pretty good. You know what I really want, though? I really want to pull Renegade. I just think that it's such a small chance that we do. Okay.
Praise be to the great sun!
If it's on... I want to know why, if it's that it's on range. I guess because of this, maybe they don't anticipate something for the Kelly? So it's just the one. These are roll locked to melee, right? Even if they're bonded. It's like they prepare for this matchup. And they've got nothing that we can play with this. We're kind of stuck in like an uncomfortable spot, right? At least this one works.
A witch's best friend is a pig, no doubt.
Lost spirit devoid of name, part now our veil of pain.
We gotta use leader at this point.
The continent will quake beneath Nilfgaardian hoof.
We've got a reset. I just need to find something else. It's not a bad yen. I feel like this could be the way. We take a muzzle next turn. They muzzle it back. What are you gonna do? Purify it now? Let's see. I think I'm supposed to just play this for 4 points. And then when they pass, if they do pass, we take Yen on this. So they can't take Ozrel, because there's no Kelly. Actually, card advantage is probably more important. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Graveyard for... Well, actually, we still got the opportunity to do the Vilgeforts. I forgot about that. Oh, we just need to pull it now. Okay. So it's going to be 1, 2. Yeah, we're good. I'm going to do this first. And then I'm going to go Vilg and into the Vragif because we don't need it. And I don't think they're going to use Ozrel first turn. That's fine. I know that they proc Thrive and all. Okay. Maybe they greed it. Like, I gotta be careful. Just in case, because I'm thinking, what if they have a heat wave or something like that? We can just take 1 turn and just do the lock there. Yeah. So next up here we got Mahakam Forge again. And we're on red, so it might even be a bit better for us here. I think we're supposed to dump these away, but this is a brick. Maybe we just take 1 in hand and we dump the other one. Actually, we can use this with this. That's not a good hand. Whenever I want to push, I can't push. It doesn't matter what deck I make, it just, it's the way it goes. We'll try our best. It's gotta be the pressure, right? And if they start cracking at them, we do have the ointment, which is pretty good. That's fine. That's a good muzzle, but at the same time, I don't think we need a muzzle. Maybe we just lock it. Nah, it's not that important. Like, there are other things that I'm probably going to want to lock instead. They take 2. If they've got... They probably could bring out 2 damage. Something like that. Okay. Feels like I take ointment. I'd like to be able to lock that as well, but... Just turn off the 1 point per turn engine, right?
Was it a boot?
Damage feels worse. Because we can reset that. They pass, they get a +1. If we get 2 good hits, which is unlikely, we stay with them. That looks like it's full. Yeah. I believe they probably have Ring of Favor. I'm gonna take it here just because I gotta stay ahead. Some Dwarfs decks just don't have it. Yeah, there you go. And we go first.
Sons of Nilfgaard!
Looks like we're playing against probably another Kelly deck. So we can deal with this. These gotta go back first. And I think it's gonna be that. That's unfortunate.
Praise be to the great sun!
I think we're just gonna bond the pikemen and just get out of the round. Okay. I'd say that, but that's gotta be a lock. It's not gonna boost anymore though.
Scoia'tael!
We could take Spear Tip from their grave.
I bring death, quite literally.
We get the one hit, and we save some points. Of course. It makes it...
Witch's best friend is a pig. No
Unfortunately, I can't compete here. We just have to let them go. Yeah, on the pass, they just get it. They probably have Ring of Favor as well. Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay with that. We keep Peller, we fix the Mage Assassin. We look for like a Yen. We look for Vilgefortz, right? There's the Yen. A Reset's actually pretty good. Take that away. We take one of those away. There we go. So we got Vilg. I need to go take it right now because I think they're going to use, you know, what we think they're going to use. We're going to give them... going to give them an ointment. There we go. Tell me that's not good, right? We gave them an ointment.
A fine vintage it would have made.
The only bad part, though, is that this is bricked. This right here. I think I have to take the Purify and try and scare them out of the rounds. Yeah, it's tough. Because they won't want to put Kelly down when it's purified. If they do, we take it. That's not very good either. Where's Igni when you need him? Yeah, usually I would give them something in their grave. This time I'm feeling kind of bad about, like, we did something well on one front, but on the other we didn't. I think I just play like this for points. Save Peter. Again, we'll just break this on purpose.
The continent will quake beneath Nilfgaardian hoof.
Here we go. I just can't give them this for Osril. It's really bad. Okay. Locke feels kind of good. Yen feels kind of good. Muzzle feels kind of good. Onero into... Truffle? I think we just keep it. Is it Onero into Truffle? It's gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be. I think we just take this anyways, because we've got this set up. And it'll start boosting. It's bricked because Erendite and I think they had Onero as well, right? We gotta hide our points. Like, I don't really want to give them this, but... I also don't want to just dump a lock. I think I'm going to, though. Not because we need it, just because we need to, you know, keep everything good. I'm gonna regret that, though, if they play Sabbath, and then they play Kelly.
They're surprisingly clean creatures, as it happens.
They're at 17. I think we actually take a 6. Just because I don't think they're going to get Sabbath. Yeah, we get 2 cards in check. It's over.